Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Natalie and I run a stationery shop called Doodlesntea. I am first of all so sorry this video took so long to film. But if you guys watched one of my previous videos, I talk about what's happened in 2023. I'll leave it in the cards for you guys to check out, but 2023 kind of threw a curveball at me, and I know that this video has been highly requested by so many of you, and that is to talk about things like finances, bookkeeping, and all of that goes into running a stationery shop. I also wanted to gather as much information as I could so that I can let you guys know all in one video, because this video has been delayed long enough. Before we start this video, I do want to give a quick disclaimer that once again, I am a stationery shop based in Canada, and even within Canada, there are different provincial rules when it comes to things like taxes. So you can take this video as kind of a beginner guide, but please also do more research yourself, as I am by no means a financial expert of any sort. This is just what I've been doing and you guys wanted to hear that, so that's why this video exists. So if you guys are interested in more content like this, don't forget to like this video and to subscribe to this channel for more of that. And once that is done, let's get started. As usual, my notes are here because I want to make sure that, especially for this video, that I don't forget anything. So the first question that I got was, is running a shop full-time realistic? And my answer to that is yes and no. I would say yes if you're making enough sales to pay for all of your bills, maybe rent, meals, etc. And as well, if you're someone that doesn't have any huge expenses, for example, maybe you're still really young and you don't have to pay for rent yet and you're still living with your family. In that case, you can give it a try to do it full time. But at the same time, I would say no, it's not realistic, especially if you're someone that has a lot of bills to pay. Or I know that there are a lot of people, at least on Instagram, that message me as well, that are parents and you have to take care of your family. So it really depends, and that's why I say yes and no. Although if you're just starting out, I would say that no, it's not realistic to just quit your job and pursue this, as much as I know so many of us would love to just do our shop full time. Realistically, that is obviously not a good idea unless you already have like a very strong existing community. Another thing that I would like to remind you guys is that in this, I guess, job or career, every paycheck that you get is going to be different. One month you could be earning only $100, another month you could be earning like $10,000. It really fluctuates, and sometimes it fluctuates by a lot. So that's why I say, especially if you're someone who has a lot of expenses, that maybe it's not the best to just pursue it full-time right away. And also, yeah, don't be one of those people that quit their job because they had 1 month that they made like $1,000, because you never know what's gonna happen the next month. Make sure that it's consistent first. A little subcategory in this question was, do you need multiple platforms in order to have a higher income stream? It does help, but you also have to factor in different things. For example, you have to factor in time, the material costs as well. How quickly can you actually earn all of that money back? This is why a lot of small businesses do things like Patreon or YouTube, because that's like an extra stream of income. But you also have to consider the extra amount of content that you're going to have to think of and create within a certain time frame. For myself, the main income streams for Doodlesntea are from sales and YouTube AdSense. I do, as you guys know now, have a full-time job, but that is all to take care of expenses in my personal life. The sales and revenue from YouTube AdSense is what is used to fuel the bank account for my shop. I do have like very scattered pieces of commissions here and there, but it's honestly not a lot, so I don't like to rely on those. The next part is budgeting for products. This is the part where I would recommend already having, whether it's a part-time or full-time job, because you can take the money from your job and invest it into your shop, whether that is getting products made or paying for materials and machines to make your products. I will link 2 videos in the cards for you. One of them is how much it costs to run at least my stationery shop, and the second one is starting a stationery shop on a budget. And hopefully that will give you guys a bit more insight as to how much it actually costs to run a stationery shop. Another thing that I would recommend is to write down your income and your expenses on an Excel sheet. This way it is keeping you aware of actually how much you are spending and how much you're actually earning. This also kind of ties into bookkeeping, but we will talk more about that later on in this video. Now next is taxes, tax form, and bookkeeping. Now once again, I do want to remind everyone that this is based off a Canadian shop. So even within Canada, like I said, provincial taxes are different. So please also do your own research before you have to fill in any tax forms later on. One of the most asked things that I got was about the VAT, which is the value added tax. And I'm not gonna lie, I still don't know too much about it, but I do know that it is a consumption tax that is placed on goods and services. And it is especially for, I believe, things that are going to the European Union. From my experience, Etsy will take care of the VAT for me for any orders that are going to buyers that are in the European Union. They will embed the proof of payment into the shipping labels so that when the buyer receives it, they don't have to pay it again. That was another reason why I decided to sell internationally on Etsy instead of opening that up on Shopify. And that is simply because Etsy will take care of all of that for me. So because of that, I don't know too much about it if you were trying to set up your shop somewhere else. So I'm sorry about that. I tried to look it up, but everything was also, like a lot of you said, very confusing. So to sum it up, if you're going to sell internationally and you're worried about the VAT, I would just use Etsy to take care of it. Another thing I wanted to include, this might be more specific to shops in Canada, but is talking about the GST, the HST, business license, and all of that. So you won't actually need to register for a GST or HST number until you make at least $30,000 Canadian in sales. And when you do, you're going to have to talk to a tax advisor about getting that set up. And leading on from that are tax forms. Always remember to submit to the government how much you have made. Please do not end up on the bad side with the government. For myself, the accountant that I had helped me take care of all of this, and they ended up filling out a T1 form. And I believe that is the general income form. And basically all you need to know is your total income, your net income, and your taxable income. So I would assume that this one is the form that everyone who is self-employed would have to fill out. Now for bookkeeping, personally, I use QuickBooks, and I know that is a subscription-based platform, but I do really enjoy using QuickBooks because it makes everything easily organized. I'm able to upload my receipts, and yes, you should be keeping your receipts. It can also auto-detect sales that come in from either Etsy or Shopify. There are apps that can streamline all of that. And it's also connected to my bank account, so it automatically detects any of the expenses that are coming through as well. And through that, I'm able to connect the receipt to the transaction so that when I add my accountant to access the account, they're able to see everything already organized, and that way it makes their workflow a lot easier. Now there is another option, as I know that some of you don't want to pay a subscription fee, and that is using Excel spreadsheets. Very similarly to QuickBooks, you're gonna want to record your incomes and your expenses. And yes, again, remember to keep all of your receipts so that you can hand them off to an accountant. And try to be as detailed as you can with where you spent the money or where this money is coming from. That way it's just easier for the accountant to be able to know what categories to put everything in for the forms. From my experience, I know that a lot of people try and do their taxes themselves, but I've always had an accountant, so I'm not exactly sure about the technicalities of filling the forms out yourself. So unfortunately, that is something you guys would probably have to find in another video or ask someone else about. But overall, I do believe that bookkeeping and keeping record of your income and your expenses is good practice regardless. And from that, that's everything in this finance video. I hope you guys found it helpful and kind of relieved a bit of stress and gave you a bit more clarity. I'm sorry if it wasn't as detailed as you were expecting. I feel like a lot of the things I talked about were very general. So if you guys have more questions, please leave it in the comments below. I will do my best to get to all of them. And if not, again, I'm sorry if I don't know the answer. I am no financial advisor. But with that, I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys are all staying safe out there and taking care of yourself. And I'll see you in that video. Bye!